Today, I'm excited to chat with Chuck Hurley, a seasoned payroll accountant with over 10 years of experience. He's worked on more than 30 TV shows, features, and web series, including hit projects like Westworld, Winning Time, and It's Always Sunny. Welcome, Chuck.
Thanks.
So glad to have you here.
Thank you. It's fun.
Thanks for signing up for this.
Yeah, of course. Always fun.
Okay, so my first question whenever I do one of these, I know you're an Iowa guy from Iowa State. Mm-hmm. How does a boy from Iowa know about the movie business and get into production accounting?
Well, I started out in like mutual funds, something really exciting back in yeah. And but I had a friend who I knew from high school who came out here to be a feature screenwriter. One day I was really tired of my job and I had some vacation time and I said, "Hey DJ, I'm coming out to see you." And I came out and spent a week out here and I was like, this is a lot better than Des Moines. So I didn't really have much of a plan or really much money or anything, but I just loaded everything into a car and came out here and made it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A dream.
Yeah.
Iowa boy with a dream.
Exactly. I was just like, yeah, I can do this. If these guys can do it, I can do it.
Okay, so what was your first job? How did you get your foot in the door?
So I had a crazy landlady when I first came out here, and she gave me a number for like a temp agency. Mm-hmm. So I just went to the temp agency, started sending me out on things. They liked me a lot, so they'd send me to new clients. And one of the places they sent me was Homeowners Association in Studio City. I started working there, and there was a guy who would come into the office to talk a lot, just to hang out. And turns out he was a production accountant. He was between shows, and he had a Disney Channel pilot coming up. So he asked me how much I made, and I told him, and he started laughing. So he's like, "Come work for me. I got a show starting up in February," and so I was in. It's kind of crazy, actually, because when I think back on it, it was only a few months after I came out here, but it felt like an eternity.
Right.
You know,
when you're in that uncertain period, you don't know whether it's...
Exactly.
Yeah. You don't know whether the next job's coming, and then something just lands in your lap and it works.
Yep. Moving apartments every couple of months, just like that first time. Yeah. Just trying to get your feet under you, and then boom, and then it just takes off.
Yep. That's great.
Yeah.
So which project has been your favorite to work on?
You mentioned It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
That was just my favorite show. So when I was working with an accountant on a different show, just some small thing for IFC, and I saw her she had these binders on her desk and it said Sunny on it. And I was just like, I knew she was prepping, she was budgeting for a show, and I was like, could it be? Didn't say anything. And sure enough, a couple weeks later, they're like, "So we're going to go do a season 10 of It's Always Sunny." And I'm like,
wow.
So that was fun.
And did you go to Philly? Or
No,
it was all here in LA?
Thankfully, just because of this job and how it works, thankfully we did not take a Philly unit that year, because that is a pain.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool, but we did it all in West LA that year. Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, I did a couple seasons of that, and thankfully we didn't have to do any Philly units.
Well, that's very rare. I feel like you love the show and actually get to work on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know anybody else who's ever gotten to work on their favorite show. So I don't know. That was pretty cool.
That's a dream. Yeah.
But yeah, I've done a few. There was one, I actually was a production accountant on a low budget horror comedy in Nicaragua. That was cool too. Mm-hmm. Just a small team. Mm-hmm. We just went down there for a couple months and just shot all over this little resort and a little cave area. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of cool ones for different reasons. I've mostly liked most things I worked on.
And then there's occasionally you work on something, you're like, I'm never going to watch that. I don't want to know anything about
absolutely.
it.
We won't name any,
Exactly.
but sometimes it's just like, that was I'm cashing these paychecks and never speaking.
Exactly.
These people again.
Okay, so what is the best part of the job?
It's honestly, it is just working on different things. Like that was what was always cool about it is, especially when the industry was really busy, you could almost choose where you wanted to go and then find a job there, especially doing this. It's in high demand. So I don't know. I like the fact that it changes every few months, really. I would like a 4-month show, and then the things that get old about it, you just get to put it in the rear view and go on to something different. So yeah, different studios, different bosses, that can be a challenge.
Different coworkers,
different locations. I know, that's the best part, honestly.
I know. I feel like it's the only job where you start on day one, you know when your last day is going to be before you even start.
Absolutely, which is cool. And yeah, so if it's a particularly tough show, which I've been pretty fortunate, early in the career, you got to put up with some tougher shows. But yeah, no, that's great. Like you always know it's going to be done soon.
The end date is there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I know you've been in the business a long time. You've seen the ups and downs, but COVID in particular kind of rocked everybody's world. Yeah. Where were you during COVID? How did that affect you?
I was fortunate. I did a show just before COVID for almost an entire year. So, and with like very little expenses. Anyway, I was able to save up a lot. So I didn't really do anything for the first like 6 to 8 months of COVID. We were able to just kind of sit back and take it all in. Yeah. And had plenty saved up. Then we jumped back in and it was crazy. Like getting tested every day and having to wear masks at your desk. Yeah. Like that was rough. So that was what was nice though, is the digital part of it really was forced then. Right. You know, everybody was trying to get their digital things up and running, but a lot of especially the producers who've been doing it for a while were really resistant, but COVID sort of made them do it. And that was kind of nice. And you know, there was growing pains because of course unrolled a lot faster than people expected, but that was nice. So being able to basically push the industry into digital, that was pretty cool. The other nice thing about that was I can work from just about anywhere now. Right. Which is pretty cool. You definitely couldn't do that before. It was a big stack of papers on your desk every Sunday and you just had to go into the office. And now I like going into the office because I didn't get into this to work from my home. Right. But I love the fact that, you know, if I need to be on the East Coast for a week, cool.
You can make it work. Yeah, exactly.
It's awesome. So that was pretty cool. I liked that. Yeah. So between COVID and the strikes, it's been kind of a wild couple of years, but I would say I fared pretty well, all things considered. I was fortunate enough to kind of get on shows just at the right time that I was carried through some of that stuff. Right. And I don't know. It actually has gone pretty well. Yeah. I think I'm pretty fortunate. I know a lot of people haven't seen this upheaval in the industry in a generation. So it's been a rough time all around. Yeah. But to stay working, to keep changing things up, to adapt to the new processes, it helps you in the long run. And absolutely. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, again, growing pains. And you're right. There was so many new people since the industry blew up so much, sort of in the late teens and early 20s. There was so many people who hadn't experienced the earlier strike. They just didn't really know how to plan for it and all that. Some of the people who'd been around for a while knew it was coming a little more. But yeah, that was tough. I feel like, you know, some people maybe decided to switch careers and stuff during all that, but those of us who held on, I think we're going to be good. Hopefully we're on the other side of all of that, right? Exactly. It's always something, but I think everyone's ready to get going. So I know we've talked about some of the challenges that come, the ups and downs of any job really, but what would you say is something you've learned that you wish you'd known earlier maybe, or something that's you kind of come to in your recent part of your career? Yeah, I think this is more of a challenge maybe for some people than others, but just things not having to be perfect, especially when you're in something that's so high volume. Like entertainment payroll is you're getting it out every week by Thursday, and it's crazy. Like everything they did the week before, all the new people they added, like there really isn't anything like it in terms of the pace and the deadline, which I kind of like about it. But you'd have to let go of a certain amount of perfection. Like you have to essentially figure out that place where you're doing a good enough job and where everything is as right as you can possibly get it while still getting it done. And so I think letting go of perfection, it can really bog you down. Like it can get you very discouraged, especially when you have a huge pile of a mess in front of you. And so you just have to let go of that a little bit. And I think it's a lesson I have to keep learning, but if I could have learned it earlier, or maybe could have saved myself some headaches, some rough weeks, some of those days where you wonder why you do it. Right. Because most of the days you love it. Most of the days you love that you do it. But if you can figure out ways to just turn down that stress just a little bit, it gets a lot better. I like to say I'm a recovering perfectionist. Yeah, exactly. And it's every day, right? And well, like every day, steps every day. The steps. Yeah. But, you know, that's part of what draws people like us into this business, because you can dot all the I's and cross all the T's and everything. Numbers always, 1 plus 1 always equals 2. Yeah, exactly. But you can't. The numbers. It's not going to be perfect every time. Right? Yeah, but I don't know. You just got to find the balance, and then And the other thing I would say, as far as just something I wish I would have known, is to just jump in. That's the other thing. Like that's how I got into the industry. That's how I got into the job. It's just, you don't know what you're going to be doing. This industry moves so fast and people move up so fast that you just have to be ready to take that next leap and just jump in the deep end and figure it out. Yeah. Because guess what? Nobody really knows exactly what they're doing. That's the dirty little secret. Like everybody is sort of, you know, hearing a question and then running outside to call their friend who does this to be like, what's an estimate to complete? Exactly. Just fake it till you make it while managing your imposter syndrome. But honestly, just jump in and do it, and you're going to figure it out. Just work hard at it. Make a really good effort. That's something that again, wish we would have known earlier, but also you just have to keep relearning it.
Yeah.
Just jump in.
Leap of faith, which it sounds like you've done.
Exactly. And it actually gets harder to do in a way, you know, like as you get, you know, you have that nicer apartment, car payment and all that, it gets kind of tougher in a way to keep making these leaps, but you just have to.
Yeah.
I don't know, just do it. You'll be fine.
Well, that was going to be my last question of advice for those starting out, but I feel like you touched on it.
That's a big piece of it.
What else?
Yeah, I would also say just jump in, like just try to get in, just have a good attitude, work really hard, be humble. Gets kind of a bad rap these days, but be a little humble, like just be ready to learn and do the job. And then the other thing I would say is figure out what you want to do and then go after that. Like I would say first just get in, figure out how to just get a job being an office PA or a daily set PA or a clerk, something like that. And then figure out pretty quickly, like, is this what you want to do or do you want to work for another department? And then if you're doing a good job and you're intelligent, you can usually find like a good moment to talk to like a department head of a different department and then go after that. Because one thing that can happen, especially if you do a good job, is they'll just keep hiring you to do what you're doing and keep sort of moving you up because people want to hold on. I heard somebody say it once, make sure your ladder's up against the right wall.
Yeah.
So figure that out, put your ladder up against the right wall and then go after that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
so get
great
in
advice.
and then figure it out. Right?
Yeah, and work hard and show up and have the right attitude.
Yes,
right.
That's the other thing. Is it's a little bit of a scary industry in that it's freelance and you don't know when the next job is coming, and you usually don't know as you're finishing one when the next one will be. But it actually ends up working out. If you mostly just working hard and having a good attitude, you're just going to get the next one.
Right.
You just will. It's a weird leap of faith every single show, and it's worked out for almost 15 years.
That's like 99% of life. Right?
Exactly. Just do a good job, work hard. People will like you. People will want to work with you again, and you'll get another phone call. You just will.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
This is
it's
fun.
great to have you.
Yeah, of course.
Look forward to seeing you again soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Bishop.